Dozens of potential jurors are being questioned at this hour inside the courthouse here behind us. And because of just how famous Sean Diddy Combs is, a lot of the questioning is surrounding what they already know about the case.
Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan. These names and other celebrities came up at day one of Diddy's trial in Manhattan.
Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a new set of allegations against him. The hip-hop mogul is being accused of witness tampering and tainting the jury pool.
Diddy's BET Awards after party at BOA. Michael B. Jordan shows up to the party and they won't let him inside.
So Diddy's trial is finally kicking off, but the drama is far from over. And now Hollywood's own Michael Jordan is caught in the mix. Word is the judge on Diddy's case has officially considered bringing Michael in as a witness, and that might have just put him right in Diddy's crosshairs.
Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan. These names and other celebrities came up at day one of Diddy's trial in Manhattan.
Thing is, despite being behind bars, Diddy is allegedly still finding ways to intimidate witnesses, which is one of the key reasons he's been denied bail so far.
Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a new set of allegations against him. The hip-hop mogul is being accused of witness tampering and tainting the jury pool.
Also in the past, he's been linked to using street gangs like the Crips to carry out his dirty work. And while it's unclear if they're still in the picture, there's speculation that Diddy may have found new players to do his bidding. So, is Michael Jordan actually in danger? Let's break it down. Michael B. Jordan. Now, jury selection for Diddy's S-trafficking trial officially began Monday morning in New York, and things are already getting interesting. About 150 potential jurors were brought in and asked to fill out a detailed questionnaire. It covered everything from their knowledge of Diddy, their personal experiences with SA, their views on law enforcement, and more.
Dozens of potential jurors are being questioned at this hour inside the courthouse here behind us. And because of just how famous Sean Diddy Combs is, a lot of the questioning is surrounding what they already know about the case.
One of the more eye-catching parts, though, was the list of at least 190 names, celebrities, public figures, and other individuals connected to the case. The jurors were asked to scan and mark if they recognized. And yep, Michael B. Jordan's name was on that list.
The big headline, potential jurors were given a list of 190 celebrities and asked which names they recognized. Stars included Kanye West, Mike Myers, Michael B. Jordan.
Now you might be wondering, what does Michael B. Jordan have to do with all of this? Well, here's where it gets real. According to Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, she and Michael B. Jordan had what was described as a flirtatious relationship back in 2015, during a rough patch in her relationship with Diddy. Apparently, Diddy found out and didn't take it well at all. The lawsuit claims he actually called Michael and threatened him. Michael then reportedly reached out to Cassie and told her something along the lines of, "You really need to call Mr. Combs," which makes it seem like whatever Diddy said was intense enough to raise alarms. But that's not all. That same year, 2015, Michael was famously denied entry into Diddy's BET Awards after party. At the time, fans were told the party was over capacity and that's why he couldn't get in.
Diddy's BET Awards after party at BOA. Michael B. Jordan shows up to the party and they won't let him inside.
Why wouldn't they let you in?
What? They got capacity, you feel me?
But with all the new info surfacing from Cassie's case, people are starting to side-eye that incident. Was it really about capacity, or was Diddy intentionally icing Michael out because of what had gone down with Cassie? Looking back now, it all feels a little too convenient. And there's more potential overlap. Fast forward a few years, Diddy dated Lori Harvey in 2019, and then Michael dated her the following year. It's not clear how deep things got, but fans are speculating that Lori may have shared some unsettling details about her time with Diddy.
It's not clear what the connection could be, but both Michael B. and Diddy dated Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori.
Especially since she later unfollowed him on social media, which many took as a sign that something definitely went down behind the scenes. And if Michael was close enough to hear any of those stories firsthand, then yeah, he might know more than most people think. Now, Michael B. Jordan isn't the only high-profile name that popped up on that juror questionnaire list. Other celebrities like Kanye West, Mike Myers, and Kid Cudi were also included. The full reason for each name's inclusion isn't completely clear, but what we do know is that Diddy has always been connected to big names in Hollywood, thanks to his wild, star-studded parties and deep ties within the industry. Still, not every name is just there for show. Some have real links to the darker parts of this case. Take Kid Cudi for example. According to prosecutors, he's not just a celebrity acquaintance. He's believed to be an actual victim of Diddy's wrath. Back in 2011, Cudi was allegedly dating Cassie, and just like what happened with Michael B. Jordan, Diddy didn't take kindly to that. But instead of just a threat, prosecutors say Diddy went a step further. They believe he was behind a literal car bombing that targeted Kid Cudi's vehicle. That alone paints a chilling picture, and it's one of the reasons fans are seriously concerned for Michael now. If Diddy could go that far over a romantic entanglement in the past, what's stopping him now? Especially when you consider that even behind bars, Diddy's influence doesn't seem to be slowing down. Diddy threatening witnesses. According to new filings by prosecutors, Diddy has been accused of tampering with witnesses and trying to manipulate the trial from the inside.
Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a new set of allegations against him. The hip-hop mogul is being accused of witness tampering and tainting the jury pool.
This all came up after Diddy requested another bail hearing. His previous requests had already been denied by 2 separate judges. In response, prosecutors dropped some heavy claims. They say Diddy's been making relentless efforts to reach potential witnesses, including victims who could testify against him. How? Well, it's been reported that Diddy allegedly used other inmates' phone access codes, called pack numbers, to sneak around call restrictions and reach out to people. That includes his sons and possibly others tied to the case. He's also accused of making 3-way calls, using these backdoor methods to get his message out from behind bars.
Prosecutors accuse Combs of evading monitoring by using telephone accounts of other inmates and also using 3-way calls to reach people who were not on the approved contact list.
And that's not all. Prosecutors claim Diddy even used a third-party communication service, Contact Me ASAP, to reach out to people he wasn't authorized to speak with. They also mentioned a particular phone call from October last year between Diddy and one of his adult sons. Most of the details from that call were redacted in court documents, but what wasn't hidden is damning. Prosecutors say the call suggests Diddy's goal was to blackmail victims and witnesses, either to scare them into staying silent or to pressure them into giving favorable testimony. It doesn't stop there. Prosecutors also pointed out that Diddy had been trying to sway public opinion in his favor, even while locked up. One example they gave was a video posted on Instagram by his son Justin. In the clip, Diddy's kids are singing him happy birthday over the phone. Innocent, right? Not quite.
Happy birthday to Daddy.
Yeah. Prosecutors claim Diddy was actually tracking the video's engagement and discussing strategy with his family to ensure it would have the right impact, particularly on potential jurors. That level of desperation is wild. He's not just sitting in jail waiting for trial, he's actively trying to spin the narrative from the inside. And this is why the concern around Michael B. Jordan is growing. Diddy's pattern of behavior, threats, manipulation, and even alleged violence isn't something that started yesterday. It's consistent and calculated. If the claims about the Kid Cudi car bombing are true, and if Diddy did threaten Michael over Cassie, then it's not a stretch to wonder what he might be willing to do now, especially when he has everything to lose. This takes us back to one of the darkest and most controversial rumors surrounding Diddy, his alleged involvement in the death of Tupac Shakur. Diddy and Keefe D. As most of us already know by now, Dwayne Keefe Davis, better known as Keefe D, a well-known member of the Southside Crips, was arrested and charged in connection with Tupac's murder. And according to Keefe D himself, the whole hit was set in motion by none other than Diddy. Here's how it all supposedly went down. In the early 90s, Keefe D was introduced to Diddy through a mutual acquaintance, a guy named Eric Von Zip Martin, who was a street figure with one foot in the music industry and the other firmly in the streets.
It was through Zip Martin.
Okay.
Zip Martin already had a business relationship with the Southside Crips.
Mm-hmm. So Puffy elected to, let's align ourselves with these street guys, with Zip. And then through Zip came Keefe.
Keefe says he met Diddy at a party, they shook hands, and that was it for a while. At the time, Diddy was still coming up. He wasn't the mogul we know today. He was hustling to make a name for himself, promoting artists and doing whatever it took to stay in the mix. Their first real business deal came when Diddy rented a car from Keefe's crew, the Southside Compton Car Club, for Usher's Can You Get With It music video. The rental was supposed to cost $2,400, but after Usher went wild dancing on the roof and ended up damaging the car, Diddy paid $4,400 instead. That extra money supposedly went to Compton Hydraulics, a car shop owned by Keefe's family. Keefe's crew was known for rolling deep in flashy, customized lowriders, the kind that turned heads and made statements. Fast forward to the summer of '95, Keefe D was invited to a major industry event called the Beat Summer Jam, which was hosted by Diddy himself. This wasn't just some little get-together, this was the party, packed with celebrities, industry execs, and some serious street presence. And guess who else was in the building? Suge Knight, the infamous head of Death Row Records and a dominant force on the West Coast rap scene. According to Keefe, Suge didn't hide his jealousy. At that point, Diddy was riding high, Biggie's One More Chance was dominating the airwaves, and Bad Boy was on top. Suge approached Keefe at the party and asked how he knew Diddy. Keefe's reply was, same way everybody knows him, through drug dealing. But things started going fast. Two major events would shift everything between Suge and Diddy. The first one was this.
You don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing, come to Death Row.
One of them was the murder of Big Jake, a close friend of Suge's who was killed in a violent clash between Bad Boy and Death Row affiliates at a nightclub in Atlanta. Suge blamed Puffy for Big Jake's death, and tensions exploded from there.
One hand, Suge had him with one hand and was shaking him. Somebody started shooting across the street. And I could see the dude just busting, pop, 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 pop. Dude came out of nowhere and just touched Jake. And Jake was about 400 pounds.
Keefe says that after the incident, someone from Bad Boy called him and said, "Your boy Big CEO is tripping," clearly referencing Suge Knight. Keefe's response was just, "Send us 40 to 59 tickets and we'll be there deep at every one of your shows." And that's exactly what happened. The Crips were handed backstage passes and rolled deep with Bad Boy across the West Coast. They were backstage, at the hotels, and always in the loop. Thanks to Zip and his close relationship with Diddy, Keefe and his crew always knew where Puffy was, what shows he was doing, and where he was staying. If anything were to go down, they had access.
And it was Puff. And he like, "You think it's cool to come out here and do concerts?" I'm like, "Why it wouldn't be cool?" So he like, "The big CEO dude." So
Suge.
Yeah.
But the paranoia wasn't one-sided. Keefe says Diddy was scared enough to start moving like a politician. According to Keefe, Puff hired former Navy SEALs to protect him. These weren't your average bodyguards. They were wearing earpieces, suited up like CIA agents, and stationed in the hotel room right next to Diddy's suite. Now here's where it all hits a chilling point. According to Keefe D, there was one night at a club when Zip and Puff called him over for a serious conversation. When Keefe walked up, Puff supposedly dropped a bombshell. "I got a couple of problems I need handling, Big CEO and Pac." Keefe says he didn't flinch. "That's not a problem," he told Puff. "We can make that happen." And here's the kicker. Puffy allegedly promised $1 million for the job, $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. But then, things started to go left between Keefe D and Death Row 2 over a few incidents that pushed everything over the edge. One of the earliest problems stemmed from a situation involving some women connected to Death Row. According to Keefe D, during the filming of a Death Row music video, he was present on set, and while one of the women was walking down the stairs, he accidentally brushed against her backside. He claimed it wasn't intentional. She told people that Keefe was some from Death Row, which obviously didn't sit right with anyone. That wasn't all. Around the same time, Keefe and Suge's crews were scheduled to be at the same nightclub. What should have just been a tense night out turned explosive when someone shot at Suge's car outside the venue. Suge immediately suspected Keefe D was behind it, which only added fuel to the fire. And then came the issue with Tupac himself. Keefe D's crew and Tupac had their own friction, and part of it started with some lyrics Pac had dropped in a track.
Worldwide, let 'em recognize from Long Beach to Rosecrans.
Southside Crips took offense to a few lines and were ready to confront him. So when some Southsiders happened to spot Tupac chilling on Sunset Boulevard, they didn't hesitate. One of the gang members walked up to him, grabbed him by the collar, and slammed him against the wall. Then he hit Pac with a direct question. "You know what Long Beach and Rosecrans stand for?" And then came the fight that changed hip-hop forever. It started at a mall, where a friend of Keefe D's ran into members of a rival gang. He got jumped right there in public and was getting beat down when backup showed up. Once Keefe's guys arrived, they flipped the script, beat the rival gang down, and even snatched a Death Row Records chain off someone. That detail matters because Orlando Anderson, Keefe D's nephew, was involved in that fight, and as rumor has it, at the time, Diddy was allegedly offering $10,000 to anyone who could steal a Death Row medallion.
Puffy was saying, "We want to put this chain in in our video," and that's why the guys try to snatch the chain.
Fast forward to September 7th, 1996, the night of the Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. Tupac, Suge Knight, Trevor Lane, and the rest of their crew were walking through the MGM Grand when Trevin spotted Orlando Anderson. He pointed him out to the group, and that was all Tupac needed to hear. Pac didn't hesitate. He walked straight up to Orlando, asked him, "You from South?" And before Orlando could even answer, Pac swung and punched him square in the face. Orlando dropped to the ground and Pac's crew followed up with a savage group beatdown. They kicked him while he was down, stopping him right out there in the hallway. Hotel security eventually broke things up, but the damage was already done. Now for Keefe D, this was personal. Orlando was his blood, and seeing his nephew beaten like that in front of the world was beyond humiliating. Keefe had already been side-eyeing Suge and Death Row, calling them fake gangsters who just played tough for the cameras. That attack pushed him over the edge. And Puffy had allegedly already offered him $1 million reward to take out both Tupac and Suge. So now, with that extra motivation and real anger in his heart, Keefe says the decision was made. Keefe D later said they were cruising around looking for Tupac, hoping to catch him slipping after the fight. They knew he was supposed to be at Club 662 that night, and when he didn't show up immediately, they almost gave up. But fate played its hand. Pac was out the window of Suge's BMW signing autographs for fans, and that's when they spotted him. Keefe would say later, if he hadn't been out the window, we wouldn't have even seen him.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
Now, Keefe D claims he handed the gun to someone in the back seat, either Orlando or another dude named Big Dre. He never named exactly who pulled the trigger, said it was street code to keep that quiet, but street whispers have told a different story. While most people have pointed out to Orlando as the trigger man, some inside sources, including testimony during a grand jury hearing, suggest it was actually Big Dre, real name DeAndre Smith. Big Dre was massive, about 6'6" and pushing 400 pounds, and according to a Southside Compton Crips affiliate who testified, there's just no way Orlando could have leaned over him to get a clean shot. He was too big, the witness explained. Shells would have been flying in his face. It had to be Dre who pulled it. That small detail flipped the entire narrative for a lot of people, making Dre the more likely shooter even though Orlando took most of the blame over the years. Now, as new information continues to drop about Diddy, fans and followers are glued to the updates. But at this point, a lot of people are saying the same thing. Diddy might finally be done for.